Welcome again to Talking Sharks and greetings from the home of the table-topping Cherries. So Kingsley Jones couldn't make it two successful returns to two former clubs. After a scoreless second half here at Kingsholm, it finished 24-17. So close, but yet so far.
Well, I think we lost our composure in just the last 10 minutes of the first half. The sin bin into Lee Thomas is a crucial thing, but we know that's going to happen here. I could have told you that this morning. And then to come out just in the start of the second half and give away a soft try is not really what we're about, and it's a crucial time in the game.
Pleased to win against the top of the league side, and we recognise that we've got a few injuries, and real credit to some of the academy lads, Carlos coming in and being new within the setup, and I'm pleased that we came out with a win.
The coaching staff put a lot of emphasis on their team talks at half time, give a lot of onus to the players to go out there and then perform what we've talked about. So we've got messages coming on all the time. I thought it was great leadership from certain individuals out there today that really took the game by the scruff of the neck, and as you say, by a quick 7 points within 40 seconds of the restart. We're straight back into it, and as you say, with the shed behind us, it's a great place to play when they're on your side.
What was said at half time? Because I guess 40 seconds into the second 40, Delve goes over and it's game on from there. From Gloucester, the shed get behind them. Was Kingsley sort of much of the same from the first half?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there was much to change too much. We were playing some good stuff, a few defensive issues to sort out, but on the whole, we were pleased with what happened, and it just seemed to self-destruct in the second half.
Do you think those sin bins played a huge part? Because especially Brent Cobain's in the second, Gloucester just got on top, didn't they?
Yeah, of course. You can't afford to come down to a place like this and play 60 minutes with 14 men, and it makes it hard for everybody else. And unfortunately, I say a lack of discipline let us down, and we're all disappointed.
I'm very disappointed with the Cobain yellow card. Really, that's he's guessed that, he hasn't seen that. I've got a monitor, I've watched the ref. Brent has come through the middle of the tackle. Okay, he's ended up off his feet. But the ref has seen the last part of that and not seen what's happened before at all, and penalised him for what may be the right call, but not a yellow card. I think a bonus point, it's not the end of the world. If you come away from here today without a bonus point, you're devastated. We've got a point away from home in a tough place. Not many people will get a point here. But, the bottom line is that we want to win every game we can. We've got tough away games coming up, we've got tough home games, and you don't want to lose a game, simple as that. And of course it's a tough chance. Worcester away, Gloucester away, it's two tough games, and now we face a Bristol team that are dogged, and disappointed from their performance yesterday, so they will be really keen and coming there with some to regain some pride.
A lot of the fans are asking, where was Philippe Saint-André today? Was he around today?
No, he wasn't today. I was in charge today on my own for the first time, and started off well, but Philippe is around. He's at the club working with me, but we've got to sort of make the transition period as smooth as possible, and I think handing over the authority now is the right call from the club. Philippe obviously has got other things as well. He's fully focused on winning something this year with Sale, but he also has other things to keep his one eye on. So the future of the club is in my hands for the next few years, so it's important that I start taking responsibility for things.
And Stewie Turner's staying at your house tonight. Is that a Valentine's Day treat?
Oh, not for me, it's not. No, my sister-in-law and Stew's down, obviously, so we'll let our two little ones play play some games and that. But as you say, I think it's the first time Stewie's played 80 minutes in a long time, so I don't think we'll get much out of Stew tonight.
On Valentine's Day, you've got someone to console you. I've got no one, nothing.
Well, have you read the supporters' website? No wonder. Nobody likes you.
True. Give me a hug.
Oh, you poor fella.
So Sale FC and Wilmslow both failed to produce the goods in the illustrious Grubber Challenge. Broughton Park still top the table with 2 successful kicks. Can anyone catch them? This week, it's Burnage.
Ralph Wilson, vice captain. Johnny Scholes, social secretary. Ben Barlow, inside centre. Out! Mr. Oldham, outside centre. Philip Edge, block. Sam Jennings, stand off. Tony Farino, back row. Right, Filson, utility. Rick Gray. Now what? Through them posts. That Hume brought forward.
Well, Richard Hill's Bristol are next up for the Sharks in what will be their first home game for almost a month. A 9-6 victory at the Memorial Ground in mid-September saw Sale make it 3 out of 3 at the start of the campaign, but with 9 games remaining, the countdown's on. Nick Macleod is going to clap you in for your debut. You have to do this to everyone now.
Nice to be here, guys. Nice
Congratulations.
To be here. Pleasure.
Firstly, you've got a big smile on your face. Are you enjoying it here? Are they looking after you? Are they treating you well? Are they bullying you?
No, I really am enjoying myself here. They're like fantastic bunch of guys. I was lucky enough to know a couple of guys before I came up here, sort of Lee Thomas I went to school with and things. But there's no egos, you know. There's some big name players in the club, some British Lions and things. But everybody's really down to earth. Everybody's really welcoming, and I've settled in well.
Chris, we're going to talk about your contract. 2 months late, better late than never. But Kingsley's first signing, how does that feel?
Yeah, no, it's really good. Like I say, I signed at the beginning of January, so it's very pleasing. I've signed for 2 more years till 2011, so it's something that I'm very pleased to do. It's I think we're trying to build something very, very special here at Sale, and hopefully play my part in taking the club forward. I've enjoyed my 3 years till now, and hopefully 2 more happy years to come.
I'm obviously delighted. I've extended by another year, so it takes me up to 2011, and I enjoy my rugby here, so I was happy to stay.
With so many English people now looking to go to France, obviously the ones in the papers this week, the likes of Haskell, Flutie and Good, apparently all off to France.
Yeah.
I guess it's nice, certainly for Sale fans, to see an Englishman staying at an English club.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a big draw in France. It's the Euro is quite strong at the minute, and the clubs are paying some big money. But I mean, my family is settled up in the northwest. I really like the area, I like the club, so it was really a no-brainer to stay.
I know we've talked about it before, but when Peely came in, for example, obviously you've dropped down, you've rotated quite a lot over the last year. Was there ever a chance or a thought in your mind that you might move on and look elsewhere?
You can never say never, but it's not really my nature to give up and leave, so I thought I'd give it a good crack. I'm quite happy with how it's going, and obviously I'd like to play more, but so would Peely, so we'll keep battling out and see what happens.
It's one of the games that we'll be targeting, and we'll be doing everything we possibly can to get 5 points. But to be honest, we go into every game sort of thinking that, sort of trying to perform as well as we possibly can, and if we can get a bonus point, that's fantastic. First up is obviously to get the win. It could be a sort of potential banana skin. We've done some analysis on Bristol, and they've got some fantastic players, and I'm sure they'll be doing everything they possibly can to get up a result in Sale. But we're sort of preparing well this week, and hopefully we'll put the performance together on the weekend.
Probably the worst thing for us to happen was them to get battered last week, because there's nothing worse than a team on the end of a whipping, because you know one thing they are going to do is be very determined. So we will need to up the tempo of our game and hopefully score quickly and get into our rhythm, and hopefully we'll be attacking for the whole second half instead of defending like we were last week.
We need to win every game from now on. Really, this is where the title push comes along, and you need to get yourself in the top 4. So every game's important.
Well, that's it for the first half, but after a quick break, it's fine music, antiques, battlefields, and Dave Ward. We'll see you in 2.
Bristol's Dan Ward-Smith hails from which country? Is it A, Australia, B, Canada, or C, New Zealand? So, before the break, we asked from which country does Bristol's Dan Ward-Smith hail? And the answer is C, New Zealand.
Welcome back to the show. Now, Mozart, Beethoven and Chopin all seem to go hand in hand when talking of famous pianists. But add Sharks hooker Dave Ward into the mix and you truly have an awesome foursome. Well, that's what he told us. Merlin hasn't had too much first-team action, but when we heard about this scholar, we decided to put the war-loving, piano-playing forward to the test and see if he really can tickle the ivories.
I'm an average musician. I was probably a bit better when I was younger, and that's when I learned. My mum's grade 8 at piano and violin, so she taught. So I've got 3 siblings, including me, 4. She taught us all, whether we wanted to or not. And when I got to grade 3, I was about 11 or 12, and I thought, right, that's it. I packed it in. And my brother did the same, and ever since then, it's just been more of a hobby. We've got a piano at home, which is Bristol. I play at Christmas, cheesy Christmas songs.
I've heard a vicious rumour that at Christmas you were playing all the carols and all the family were around with candles, singing along.
It wasn't quite the candles, but yeah, I mean, my mum's she plays the piano, I get on the recorder, and my grandma and my older brother, who you would never think of if you met him, would sing. This is only because we have to then avoid the carol service on Christmas Eve. So we can either go to the pub with our mates, or go to the carol service with my mum, or have a small, quick carol service at home, and then go out,
Debut for Bath, 18 years old?
19, yeah, just turned 19.
Tell us about your memories from that, because it wasn't the best of memories, was it?
Well, it is and it wasn't, because...
Against Leinster?
Yeah, because against Leinster. So I walk into the change room, I remember this quite vividly, I look around, I see 1 Barnes, 2 Ward, 3 Bell, 4 Borthwick, 5 Grewcock. And that was a moment then that hit me, because I had so much respect for those guys around me that I was like, oh...
What was it? Was it an injury, or he just...
it was an injury. Lee Mears got knocked out the week before, and he had to have 2 weeks off.
Right.
So and Matt Stevens was covering a hooker, and he's traditionally a prop. So I was like, so he just said, right. And John Connolly came down on the Monday, like casually, he's like, Wardy, starting Saturday, Leinster. And I was like, and he just walked off. I think we kicked off, and then they kicked it down. Brilliant kick, 5 metres from our line. So first line that comes up, I'm a bit shaky. And Steve Borthwick's like, right, okay, the back. All we've been talking about how the back's going to be on against Leinster, because they always put 2 pods up. So I was like, well, hopefully he'll shorten the line out down. He didn't. I was like, right, hopefully he'll call to the front. Well, he didn't. So he calls to the back. I put it just over him, and Shane Jennings at the time was playing for Leinster, just scooped it up, dived over the line. And that was like 3 minutes in, and we were 7 points down. I look back on that performance now, I think, oh my God, if I was playing now, as a player as I am now, I could play that so much better.
So you had a couple of seasons at Bath, didn't you?
Yeah.
How did the move come about to Northampton?
I was at Bath, they had 3 awesome hookers in front of me, as in Lee Mears, Peter Dixon, Hawkins, and I was like, right, okay. My agent was like, look, Wardy, we need to move up the pecking order somehow. He goes, Northampton are looking for a hooker. So I was like, okay. Again, I've got Dylan Hartley, who you know, who you've played age group with, Paul Shields, coming over, like good, experienced pro, and then a young guy in between. So hopefully you'll at least get 3rd choice, or even 2nd choice, if you can prove yourself. And Dylan, at the time as well, had a ban for eye gouging till October, so I was like, right, okay, let's do it. So Northampton went to Matt Grayson and Peter Sloan, it was at the time, the coaches, and they were pretty happy with me, and they went, pretty intense interview, really. Yeah. And at the end of it, my agent rang me an hour later. He was like, right, they've offered you a contract. And I think it'd be a really good idea. I spoke to my dad, and he was like, yeah, I think this could be the right move. And
so, I mean, to go from, at the time, I mean, you know, this was Northampton, you know, when they were being relegated. It was a strange time to go there.
Well, I actually signed in February when they weren't quite relegated, and I think they'd just beaten Leicester away. And I was like, oh, they could actually stay up here, but they didn't. So, and when I spoke to my agent about it, he was like, look, I think he probably could have got me out because they got relegated as a contract, but he said, what's the point? Go and play Division 1,
get some
experience, get some. As a front row, as a young front row, there's nowhere better to learn your trade than Division 1.
I mean, I take it you had an option to stay there before Sale came in and pipped you, no?
Last season with Northampton, so I started the first 5 games. I'm lucky enough to score 4 tries. I mean, a lot of it was down to other good work, and I just happened to get on the end of it. But yeah, I kind of got told that I was probably never going to play again for them in the first team. At one point at Northampton, I was on the. A few people have heard this story, but they only had 6 guys on the bench, and they wouldn't even put me on the bench for the second team. I had no hard feelings because they'd given me the opportunity, and obviously, if the face doesn't fit and and players don't play the certain rugby that you might want to play or whatever as a coach, you can't do anything with them. So as soon as Sale said, yeah, we need some cover for a hooker, I jumped at the chance.
And you've not had too many opportunities, have you? You've had a bit of a run in the EDF, but it's been difficult with Briggs coming back, and of course with Bruno and Mark Jones has been in incredible form.
Exactly. I mean, those 2 guys, Briggsy and Jonesy, really steadied the ship for Sale. And then obviously now Bruno's back, renowned as one of the best scrummagers in the game, comes back, does a job against Worcester last week, and you see his appetite in training, and you think, yeah, I could certainly learn a lot of him.
I bet Christmas is great around your place. Now, you are an interesting character. One thing I read about you, and we've talked about it before, is you've been to the battlefields of Waterloo.
Yeah.
You're a historian. You like wars. You like studying wars.
To put it into perspective, when I was 5, I didn't read. My mum wouldn't read to me books about Peter Pan and stuff. We'd be reading an atlas. And so my dad was pretty similar, although he wasn't so education driven. But he's really interested in history. And he'd always talk to me in the car, going to school, going to rugby, because when you're young, you travel a lot to rugby, especially county games. Yeah. So if I got a Somerset game, could be in Bridgewater, I could be in Bristol, and he'd be like, right, that's an hour drive. You'd do a lot of talking. My dad would be like, talk about Waterloo, and then obviously TV show Sharp came out, and my dad was really interested in that. I loved it. I still love it.
And your mum paid for you and your brother to go and study the battlefields of Europe.
Yeah, although my older brother wouldn't be happy me telling people about that, because he's still like, when's she going to pay for me to do so? But he would never do something educational, so it's a bit different.
Now, another thing, we've asked you if you weren't a rugby player, because you do have you seem like you've got a lot of options. You're well educated, well studied, you're a musician. We're probably building you up a bit too much, but...
Yeah, definitely.
Antique dealer.
Again, it's just a fascination with history and furniture, and I suppose we never really had any mass-produced products at home. I'm not saying we came from a wealthy background, but my dad would be like, right, let's buy something, like a table or something, just because it's a bit different. Not to say it was expensive, just because it was one of a kind.
Right.
And so that's where that sort of developed from, and then obviously making money, really.
Now, other musicians at Sale, I've heard a few rumours. For example, one which we need to put out in the open is Andrew Sheridan.
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't look at him and think he was a top-class singer, but apparently he likes a bit of singing and a bit of guitar.
Yeah, no, I've never witnessed it myself, but I've certainly heard stories about on the guitar.
So it's not unfounded?
No, and I think he might even play the piano.
Right.
Don't quote me on that.
Okay. David Tate, electric guitar.
Yeah, he's learning the guitar. Well, I say learning, he's pretty good, but he's not quite. Chris Leck's very good on the guitar.
If you were to pick a band at Sale, you've got to pick 4 people in your band. Obviously, you're going to be on piano. You need 3 other people in your band.
It's quite funny you should say that, because we actually joke about this all the time. Because obviously, Guitar Hero, you can have a band, but there's quite a few. Can I pick 5?
Yeah, you can have 5.
Okay, so I wouldn't even be on keyboard. I'd be on violin.
Okay.
Sean Cox has just started learning the keyboard.
Right, so he's on the piano.
Yeah, he's on the piano keyboard. Fernsey singing.
Yeah.
Tate on the guitar, and Hilsey on drums.
Right, okay, I'll give you mine. Seabass on drums, Andrew Sheridan is the front man.
Yeah.
I have Rudy Carl on backing vocals.
okay.
Don't know why you're laughing, because he's actually very good at that.
I know, but
and
Rudy
also
almost seems like the girl of the band with the blonde hair, and you've got Seabass in there.
Yeah, he's got the locks and the looks. And then I have Oriel on the trumpet.
Right, okay.
You know, I think it's well publicised. You know, your contract's up at the end of the season. There's a lot of work for you to do if you have to stay and so on.
Yeah.
You have had a good time with the Jets. The Jets have had the greatest season they've had in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Historically, I think they've never done so well. That's all down to you.
Well, I joke with the Jets that when I came in, they've only won one game, and then we went on a 6-6 streak. Yeah. I've only ever won with the Jets. Right. So I always say, look, boys, but it's only a bit of a gag, and I think it's just the way that we've been lucky with the fixtures as they built up. They got progressively harder. Mm-hmm. The team played more and more and trained more and more together. I certainly want to stay in. Luckily for me at the moment, I'm on loan at Manchester, Division 1, so I'm getting my rugby. But just being around, as I said earlier, about learning off Bruno, even the older experienced second rows and stuff like that, and obviously under the tuition of Kingsley.
You've been learning from Bruno. I'm going to learn a little bit from you. I don't like to boast, but I am an accomplished pianist myself. So I thought we'd do a duet.
Yeah, it sounds brilliant to me. Yeah.
This song was written for a very special person, and I'm delighted to have Dave Ward alongside me to get it out there.
Hello. Yeah, coming now.
A true scholar and a gentleman, Dave Ward's greatest hits will be in a shop near you very soon. That's all from us here from Kingsholm on Talking Sharks. There'll be cherries on top for another week. Make sure you join us at the same time next week. Meanwhile, keep battling and keep buzzing. My next guest this evening is a man from the southwest of England, and of course with so much snow over the country, this next song so appropriate and so wonderful. Dave Ward with The Snowman.